Liam had always loved the sky, whether it was the pastel hues of dawn, the golden blaze of midday, or the star-freckled darkness of night. The sky was his solace. His bedroom ceiling was painted a deep cerulean blue, and his walls were adorned with star charts and cloud photographs. Liam felt comforted by the expanse above, an endless blanket that cradled his small, fragile world. One summer evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Liam climbed up to his favorite spot on the roof. He lay back, hands behind his head, waiting for the stars to appear. But as the twilight faded, something felt off. There were no stars. The void above was an unbroken blackness, deeper and darker than anything Liam had ever seen. He blinked, rubbed his eyes, and stared harder, but the constellations that had always kept him company refused to emerge. Maybe it's a storm, Liam muttered to himself. Yet the air was still. No clouds, no wind, just silence. The next morning, the void remained. The sun didn't rise. Instead, an oppressive blackness hung above the earth. Neighbors gathered in the streets, whispering theories of eclipses, government experiments, or divine punishment. The news channels were frantic, scientists struggling to explain the absence of light or even the faintest blue. As days turned into weeks, the world descended into chaos. Crops began to wither without sunlight. Nightmares plagued those who stared too long into the void, whispering something unseen yet felt. The void seemed alive, but Liam was different. While others hid indoors, he couldn't stop himself from looking up. Something about the void called to him, whispering in tones too low to hear, but too compelling to ignore. His parents begged him to stay inside, but every night he climbed to the roof. One night, while staring into the emptiness, he noticed a faint glimmer. A star? No, it wasn't light. It was movement. Something was out there, shifting in the depths of space. A shape began to emerge, faint at first, but growing clearer with each passing moment. It was massive, beyond comprehension, a being so immense it seemed to dwarf the very concept of scale. Liam's breath caught as the creature's form took shape. Its limbs were endless tendrils, each studded with glinting, star-like eyes. Its face was a swirling vortex of shadows and teeth that spiraled into infinity. The being moved with a slow, deliberate purpose, as though it had all eternity to spare. And it was looking at him. A voice boomed inside Liam's skull, not spoken, but implanted. "You have looked too long." Liam couldn't move, couldn't breathe. He felt his mind unraveling as images flooded his brain. Planets consumed, galaxies snuffed out, civilizations turned to ash. The entity's presence was overwhelming, suffocating, and utterly ancient. It was the void itself, the thing that had devoured the sky. And it was hungry. As Liam's sanity teetered, he noticed something horrifying. The longer he looked into the entity, the closer it came. It wasn't moving toward Earth in the physical sense. It was bending reality, drawing everything toward itself. The stars it had devoured were not gone. They were within it, screaming in silent agony. Liam tried to scream, but his voice was swallowed by the void. The being's tendrils reached toward him, passing through the air like smoke, but feeling solid in his chest, pulling at his very essence. In his final moments, Liam realized a terrible truth. The sky hadn't disappeared. The void was the sky, and it had always been there, waiting for someone to notice. Humanity's collective ignorance had kept it at bay, but his curiosity had drawn its gaze. And now it would consume everything. When Liam's parents found his lifeless body on the roof the next morning, his eyes were wide open, locked on the void above. His face was frozen in an expression of unspeakable terror, and above him, the blackness seemed to ripple with satisfaction. And then, one by one, the stars began to disappear again.